My bookshelves are at a constant state of overflow at the moment. I am buying and receiving so many books at the moment, and I am so thankful to be able to bring so many new books into my home, but I am doing that at a rate that I am basically overflowing my bookshelves constantly. And with Christmas coming up, I'm probably going to get some more books for Christmas, which I am really excited about, but it's not really solving the situation. I have got so many books stacked up in places I don't want books stacked. I don't have any extra shelf space anymore, and I need to do something about it. So today we're going to be trying to unhaul, I want to say a minimum of 20 books. 20 to 30 would be ideal. I have no idea what books to add into this unhaul yet. Normally I go in with a little bit of a plan, but I don't know. I want to try and be ruthless with it, but I'm also not very good at that, as you will have seen possibly from previous unhaul videos. But I think my reading taste changed so much, and the reasons that I have books on my shelves changes so much, and I want to try and keep up with that with my unhauls and be able to make space for the books that I am really excited about. Any books I do unhaul, I either give to charity or I list for sale on my Vinted, which I will leave linked down below. I am filming this a couple of weeks in advance, and I am going to be listing the books over the next couple of days, so I can't guarantee they'll all be there when this video goes live, but I will leave that link down below if you want to check out any of the ones that I have mentioned in this video. We're going to start in my office because I feel like that's where the biggest overflow problem is, because that is where I've got my thriller and horror books, which is a genre that I have really bought a lot of books for recently. So from the top it looks fine and it's all neat and it's ordered still. We've got my dark academia section kind of crossing over here, and then we've got horror here, and then we go down here to thrillery horror. And we have a little bit of an overflow issue, and this is a majority of the area I'd really like to try and sort out, because I like the category of books that I've got here, but I don't have room to keep adding to it, and this is probably the genre I add to the most at the moment, because I'm really getting into horrors and I can't resist a good thriller that's got like an isolated setting, so I keep adding to this section. So this is where we're going to start. Okay, right. This is problem shelf number one. I feel like some of these I could probably get rid of. Feed and Wobble Z, whatever it is. I read these two for a zombie reading vlog. I found them both very average, and I'm probably not going to continue on with the Feed series, so I think these two can be the first to go. See, all of these other ones, these actually, they're not entirely TBR. I've read The Nesting. I actually started and haven't yet finished The Sundown Motel because I thought it was going to be more of a spooky season read, and it wasn't, so I ended up putting it down to read at another point. But then other than that, actually, In the Miso Soup, did I read that? Was that for a cover to cover episode? I think it might have been. I didn't love that, so I think that one can probably go. That's 3. I still don't have enough space to not have these stacked like this though, so I feel like I need to be a bit more ruthless, but we'll do all of the shelves as like a basic unhaul first, and then I'll go through and be a little bit more ruthless with stuff. But actually, to be honest, most of these ones that are left I haven't yet read, so these are very much TBR books. I feel like I need to just pull everything out here, because this is just overflow. See, I only just got this. This is a new book that I picked up. See, I can't stop buying books. Out of all of these ones, these are all ones that I either haven't read yet and are quite new, or one that I have read, for example, You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight, and I really enjoyed, so I don't really want to get rid of those ones. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm getting rid of here. Like, these all are books that I still want to read. The Word is Murder I got for Christmas last year, or the year before maybe, and I didn't love that one as much, so maybe that one could be unhauled. I'm really clutching at straws here. See, it's already gonna have to be a bit more brutal than I am currently being. See, the rest of all of these I do really want to get to. I'm wondering if maybe I can just kind of rejig the shelves a little bit to try and make everything fit a bit better. I don't know, because it's not really it's clearly not working at the moment. Okay, this is the YA thriller shelf, and I am definitely reading a lot less YA than I used to, but I do still quite enjoy YA thrillers. Actually, it's not entirely the YA thriller shelf. That is randomly inserted in there. That is an adult thriller that I have read and did enjoy. And then we've got this one, which I think I got from a cover to cover video that I haven't got to yet, which is wrapped in plastic. I probably should just take the plastic off. This one reminded me of Pretty Little Liars because it says 2 can keep a secret if one of them is dead, which, you know, is in the theme song. So I've got these. I could unhaul these. I could do that, but I don't think I want to. But at the same time, maybe these are ones that could go under my bed, because I have a section for books that I don't want to get rid of, but at the same time don't feel I need on my shelves. I really enjoyed reading Karen M. McManus years ago and probably still would now, but I feel like I no longer am as interested in reading these kind of stories, so I think that these ones can come off. I think I've read all of these, I think. But I think what I'll do is put these under my bed, so these aren't necessarily being unhauled, and I'm not going to include them as part of the final book count for this, but they're coming off my shelves so that I have a little bit more flexibility with fitting books into spaces. I've then got some witchy books down here. This series here, I don't think I'll continue on with this. I liked it, but again, it's one of those ones where I don't really feel like I want to continue on with it now. And then maybe the same with the Deirdre Sullivan series. Possibly these 4 can go. And then I think the X-Hex as well. I read that last year and it was fine, but I didn't particularly feel like I needed to keep the book, so I think those ones can go. Also looking at these ones, The Sentence, which I can't remember when, but that was our Patreon book club pick a while ago. It was, again, fine, but I don't think I'd ever reread it, and I don't feel like I need to hold on to a copy. We have 10 already, we're halfway there, and we're only have done these shelves, so I feel like that's pretty good progress so far. See, then as we get a bit higher up, I'm a lot less inclined to get rid of these ones, because we've got, I don't really know what this is, kind of gothic-y witchiness going on there. And then we've got my horror here, which I don't think I'd get rid of any of those. And then we have my main horror section here. Again, probably not going to get rid of any of those. If I had to, I'd get rid of Something Wicked This Way Comes, because I read that and didn't particularly enjoy it. Again, don't really necessarily feel the need to keep hold of it, but at the same time, I do like it as an addition to my horror shelf. So, unsure, question mark around those so far. And then these I think are definitely safe. These ones, like, they're some of my favourite shelves to stay like that. So those are staying, which means that we've got our 10 books from these shelves so far. So I'm gonna go to other shelves, and if I still need more from these shelves, I'll come back. I'm pretty sure I say the same thing every time, but that is all ARCs up there, so they stay. And then we've got my Sarah J Maas paperbacks, which, to be honest, I don't feel like I need those as well as the hardbacks. But I think I have some personalised signed ones in there, so I might review that separately. I know that I probably don't need to hold on to those, to be honest, and maybe it's time to get rid of those. I have the hardbacks in 2 different editions, so I don't feel like I do need the paperbacks as much, especially now the covers have changed anyway. And then we've got some more hardbacks here. We've got a couple of special edition ones with the Shelby Maharin books, and then we've got Kat Dunn's trilogy there, which I really enjoyed. I recently learned Meet Me in Another Life. I actually ended up having that in both hardback and paperback and didn't realise until like a couple of weeks ago that I'd had them for probably about a year in both editions, and I just didn't know, which is just, I mean, that's just silly, isn't it? We've got quite a few book box editions here, so I'll probably keep those ones. And then we've got non-fiction here. And then we've got a little bit more of a breakdown. Now, Ninth House. I and ah about this because I'm never going to continue on this series, so I feel like there isn't really much need for me to keep this book. So maybe Ninth House. I will come back to that when I don't have a camera in my hand, because that is a heavy stack. And then what I think I can get rid of in here, oh, it's so hard to get to this whole area. Hang on. I think I could probably get rid of Normal People, because I really didn't like that book. I'm sorry, I know a lot of people love it. It wasn't for me. So I think I can get rid of that. This is the kind of section that I honestly do forget about. I feel bad saying that. But because it's covered by my trolley, I mean, even down here as well, I don't know what's down here anymore. I can use the camera to tell me. Okay, so it's the Bone Season, the Wren Hunt, those kind of books, Passenger series, which is actually a really good duology by Alexandra Bracken. Okay, we might just keep that one as it is, but I've got some stacking space there. I've not been utilising this at all. I think I need to do some shifting around of books. Right, I've removed Normal People, and now I think I'm going to take some of the books from the bottom shelf of the thriller section, the YA thrillers, and put them down here. And I think that might work a bit better. I've read this series. I really enjoyed the first 2 books. The last one I felt wasn't as big of a fan of, didn't love the direction, but whilst I love this series still, I'm not going to reread them, I don't think. I would still like to keep the books, but I think that maybe if I put them down there, that might be a better suited space. And then I could use the space where these were to put some more books that I still haven't read. Ta-da! Okay, 2 books that I feel like I've been clinging on to just because I want them on my shelves. One, we've got Dangerous Women by Hope Adams. I read this, I didn't love it, but I just think it's really pretty. I'm going to unhaul this one, and then also I am going to unhaul Ninth House. I've had this on my shelves for so long, I didn't really like it that much. I'm not going to continue with the series, and I don't need to keep it on my shelves. Okay, behind the Christmas tree is where I've got a fair few books that I forget what I've got here because I don't access this area of my bookshelves enough because there's usually plants in front of it. So first off, I think I can get rid of A Deadly Education. Oh no, they are jammed in there. I did have 2 editions of this. I read it, didn't really enjoy it. Not going to continue with the series. I don't really feel like I need to keep just 1 edition, so this can be unhauled. I mean, along the same logic, the Atlas 6, I really probably don't need to keep hold of that. I did not enjoy that book, but it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I think I need to do this without holding a camera in my hand to get a couple off the shelves here, so hang on, I'll be back. Okay, I just pulled a load off of the bottom shelves I generally don't have much access to normally. So these are all books actually that I've read, I enjoyed, but I don't think I will ever read again, and I don't really feel like I need to hold on to copies of them. So we've got Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers, The Guernsey and Literary The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows, A Carter Witch by Nnedi Okorafor, Get a Life Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, The Reader's Room by Antoine Lorraine, and then I already pulled off Deadly Education and the Atlas 6. We've got 20 books. I am going to try and pull off more of my shelves, but for now we have hit our 20 book goal. What I think I might do is leave this for a day or 2, come back to it with a fresh mind, and then basically go back in over the shelves that I've looked at and take off a couple of more books. So we haven't done these shelves yet, but I say this every time, these shelves are never really going to be the ones the books come off of, because these are like my main shelves, but there is one in the corner. Actually, we'll do the one in the corner of my lounge quickly, and then I think I'll pause that for today and come back in a couple of days with a fresh mind and hopefully add a couple more to the stack. Okay, these are the remaining books that we haven't looked through yet. I don't know really if they're going to be any on here. Let's have a closer look. This is definitely a mix of TBR and books I have read, but honestly I don't think there's any I'm immediately looking at thinking I would want to remove. Actually, maybe Daughter of the Burning City. I've held on to this one for a while. I have read this, I did enjoy it, but it was literally years ago and I don't think I'm ever going to read that one again, so I think that one can come off. And then down here we've got my fantasy section that I think can probably stay as is, and then this is, excuse the bubble wrap, kind of graphic novels into travel stuff and classics. I don't really know what the order is here, but it makes sense in my head. I think I'll leave this section alone for now as well. There you go, one more for the pile. We'll resume in a couple of days. So I was meant to leave it 1 day before I continue to unhaul books, but I've left it like a week and I'm briefly showing you these and then I'm going out. So we're not actually properly continuing with the unhaul yet, but I have added 4 more books to my list to unhaul. These were all books that were like under my bed / in storage and weren't actually on my shelves anymore anyway, but I'm gonna count it. So we've got Flame in the Mist by Renee Ahdieh. We have got The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. I think this one is the WATERSTONES special edition. And then we've got these 2, which is The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict and Murder on the Christmas Express by Alexandra Benedict. Now, I bought this 2 years ago and I read it and I finished it. I don't really know why I finished it because I really didn't like it very much, but I did. And I just was like, I'm not going to read anything more by this author. I didn't enjoy it. Don't need to read any more. And then I bought this by accident. I mean, I bought it deliberately, but I didn't realise it was the same author. And I read it again. It wasn't good. It was better. Don't get me wrong. It was better than this one. You could see improvements. But I just didn't like either of them particularly well. You might think, why did I continue and reading and finish this one when I already knew that I didn't want to read anything more by this author? I felt committed because I'd bought it and had completely not realised until I started reading it that it was the same author. There is now another book out by this author in hardback, and yes, I picked it up and read the blurb when I was last in WATERSTONES, and then I reminded myself it's by the same author. So I'm not buying any more by this author. I probably will forget that in a few years and get lured in again, but I'm also unhauling these 2. I'm heading out now, as I said, but I just thought I'd show you these ones quick, and then I need to go back to my shelves maybe tomorrow or the day after and actually start pulling more books off my shelves, and then give you a final rundown of what I am unhauling. Right, it's been another good couple of days, so we need to finish this unhaul because I need to list these books on Vinted. I need to actually dedicate myself to spending the time and pulling the final books off my shelf. So let's do that now. I feel like I need to be more brutal here because I really need the shelf space. This area, I feel like surely I can pull some more books off of this area. I'm just struggling to actually pick stuff out. Every time I go to try and unhaul this, sorry, excuse the bubble wrap. Every time I am reminded that so many people recommend this and I should probably read it at some point, but not unhaul it. So that one remains again. I don't know if there are any of my graphic novels. I don't think any of my graphic novels. I feel like they're all ones I want to keep. I don't know if I'd ever read them again or not. I am struggling. Okay, I'm struggling. These books I think I kind of don't look at as much anymore because they all kind of blend into the rainbowiness for me. So maybe there are some here. Let's have a look at them. Okay, I'm thinking maybe this, Some Girls Do, by Jennifer Duggan. This I think is a YA contemporary, which I just don't feel like I'm probably going to get to now. So maybe this one can go. I really don't need 3 editions of Midnight in Everwood, but this one is personally signed to me. Whereas this one I don't think is, but this one's got the beautiful sprayed edges. Is this one signed? No, I don't think this one is. No, whereas this one I believe is signed to me. Yeah. Dear Beth, which is why I have these 2, and then the other one is the Ark, which I'm definitely not getting rid of. So that's why I've got those. Sorcery of Thorns is another one that I often think, will I get rid of that? Will I? Won't I? And I always keep it on the shelves. So that one remains. I don't know. I feel like some of them I would need to read them to decide. Maybe this, I enjoyed this, but I don't know if I need to keep hold of it. In fact, I probably don't. That can go. Well, there you go. That's freed up some space there. Okay, there's 2 more books. That's not bad. I just pulled this one off of the shelves down there. I can't really get to those shelves very easily at the moment with the Christmas tree, so I feel like maybe there is more I would pull off of those, but the access is not there. This one I have kept for so long because I have read it and it's set in a town near me, and I quite liked that. I like the sentimentality attached to that, but I think that for me now that's probably not a reason that I need to hold on to it. I read it, it was fine, but I think it's time to put this one in the unhaul pile. This shelf here is a bit of a mixed bag. There's a lot of translated fiction on here, but also I don't really know what the ordering is, to be honest. There's a mix. So we've got something like The Girl Who Reads on the Metro. Now this is where I'm just being silly. I want to keep this for 2 reasons. 1, because it's pretty, and 2, because I feel like it's part of my collection of translated fiction. But I read this and I didn't love it. So that should be reason to not feel like I want to hold on to it, but I feel like this is where the book collector in me kind of takes over, to be honest, so I'm not sure about this one. On the same level, we've also got something like Hang's Greek Lessons, which again I have read. I didn't particularly love it, but the edition is really beautiful, so I'm kind of holding on to that one for the same reason. And we had to remove this post. I don't think I'm ever going to reread that. It was interesting, but I don't know if I need to keep hold of it or not. I don't know. This is where I'm a firm believer in that there's a right time to get rid of the books, and if it doesn't feel quite right, it'll probably come soon. So maybe that's the kind of logic that I will apply to these ones. Maybe you'll see these ones in my next unhaul. Arguably, do I need 2 editions of Gallant? Probably not. But the Illumicrate one is beautiful and the WATERSTONES one is also beautiful, so this is the issue I have. Okay, we're back in here for a final last-ditch attempt at unhauling a couple more. Just like 1 or 2 more, and then I'm okay. I'm okay with that if I can just get 1 or 2 more unhauled. I keep coming back to Something Wicked This Way Comes, but I just don't know. I'm not sure. I can't decide on that one. Maybe some of the lower shelves. I am so indecisive with this at the moment. I just don't know what to pull off these shelves. Honestly, I am struggling. Maybe we'll look at these shelves instead. Okay, I think the 2 I'm going to go for is these 2. I think. Do you know what? I actually found the first one quite interesting and it ended on a cliffhanger, and that is why I had the second one on my wish list. I just don't know if I'm ever going to actually finish this series, and I think I probably am less interested in this kind of book now, so I think I'm going to add these 2 to the pile, and that might be my final 2. Okay, we're calling it quits there. That's actually 30 books, which I said I wanted to do between 20 and 30. 30 books. We're going to go through each of the books just as a little summary. So we've got The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant, Renee Addier's Flame in the Mist, The Christmas Murder Game and Murder on the Christmas Express by Alexandra Benedict, Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody, The Reader's Room by Antoine Lorraine, Get a Life Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, A Carter Witch by Nnedi Okorafor, The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows, Morgan Rhodes' Honey Girl, A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake, Ninth House by Lee Bar Bardugo, Dangerous Women by Hope Adams, The Magpie Society Book 1 and 2 by Zoe Sugg and Amy McCulloch, World War Z by Max Brooks, In the Miso Soup by Ryu Murakami, Anthony Horowitz, The Word is Murder, The X-Hex by Erin Sterling, The Gifts That Bind Us and All Our Hidden Gifts by Caroline O'Donoghue, Precious Catastrophe, and Perfectly Preventable Deaths by Deirdre Sullivan, Feed by Mira Grant, The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. I can't see them anymore. Could have used the camera to view them. What else have we got? Oh, Normal People by Sally Rooney, The Little Shop of Found Things by Paula Braxton, When You Get the Chance by Ryan Ann Stevenson, is that? I'm trying to view this through the camera. There. And Some Girls Do by Jennifer Duggan. That is the complete unhaul pile. I still really struggle to detach the sentimental meaning behind books to unhauling the book, and I am struggling with that now, looking at this pile. I really, really do, but I think that it's perfectly fine that as readers, our reading tastes change, our book collections change, and our growing libraries can always reflect that change, and that is why I try and do these unhauls really regularly, to just try and refresh the library and the books that I have in my library. I'm calling it a library. The books in my home, it's just wishful thinking that I want it to be a library, but I think it has to be over 1,000 books for that, and that's a whole other video in itself to work out if I have my own library or not. But I am unhauling these books today. As I said, they will be listed, or some of them will be listed on my Vinted, but I am filming this in advance, although not as far in advance as I initially thought I would have been, so depending on when I actually list these books. Depends on how many of them are still going to be available, but I want to try and get them listed like in a good amount of time before Christmas, so that I'm giving people enough of an opportunity if they wanted to buy any for Christmas presents. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for coming along on this unhaul journey with me. It feels like it has been quite a journey, because this has literally taken me like a week and a half to 2 weeks to actually film and finish unhauling all of these books, because I've just been procrastinating. There is the unhaul guilt that hits me, and it just shouldn't. It really shouldn't, but it does. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed Vlogmas so far. I will see you in the next one.